I used to work in a skilled nursing facility. I was usually assigned to the Alzheimer's ward. One night I'm in the linen room stocking my cart, and I heard someone shuffle up behind me. Then I felt a hand on my shoulder. I turned around, and there was no one else in the room. The door was still shut too. Another lady started to complain that a man was coming into her room at night, but again, she had Alzheimer's, so I didn't think much of it. So to reassure her, I told her I'd check on her throughout the night. She complained of this man for every night for 2 more weeks, so I asked her to describe him to me. She said, "He's real handsome and wears a black suit. Oh, he's right behind you now, honey." That really freaked me out because there was no one behind me. She died the next night in her sleep. I was almost abducted when I was 13. I was walking home at night, and a car kept driving slowly past me saying, "Here, kitty, kitty." It was 2 young men about 28 years old. They weren't obviously trying to get me to help them find their cat. After they drive past me the second time slowly, I walked up to the house I was near and pretended it was mine, walking into their backyard. When the car turned back around to me again, they turned down on the road the house was on the corner of, and I could hear their voices as the headlights were visible inside the backyard. I was so scared, but when their car turned to the west, I ran to the east across the street and back to my real house. While I was in the basement of my house telling my dad what happened, they drove past in front of my house. But this time I could tell they didn't see me. This was a few years back. About 3 cities over, there's Downey. Within Downey, there is an old abandoned insane asylum. This place is massive, like 4 blocks worth of land. On the property there are housing storage factories and lockups for the insane. I had been here multiple times and decided to take some friends there to show them around. We got there around midnight, and it began to rain a little. We walked through the hole in the gate and walk across the huge empty field. I'm leading the way. We get to an alleyway in between 2 buildings. We walk up some steps to a balcony that connects 2 wards of the lockup. We were about to enter a broken door when, right before entering, we hear a chain clinking in the distance. All of us looked at each other. We were about 5 people. I ask my brother, who can sense spirits, "What is that?" He explains it was not there before, and we probably should not enter tonight. Which was probably a good idea, since we can hear water falling through the roof in the long corridor. All of us shine a flashlight and see some stairs leading downward where the clanking was coming from. We can see the roof bulging down from the rain, and decided it's best not to enter. We began to walk down the stairs where me and my friends came from, looking for another entrance. While walking down the alleyway, there were multiple windows with metal bars on them. They are placed low on the building, which I assume they lead to the basement. I was about to say, "Hey, this one is broken with no bars." A loud, terrible screech came from the window. I have had experiences with stuff like this, but never something like this. The screech shook me to my core. We all stopped dead in our tracks. I turned to my brother and said, "What the hell?" He has a look of pure terror on his face as he is looking at the window. I asked, "That was no human, was it?" He said no and looks up at me and says, "We need to leave now." My brother is the hot-headed type of guy who I have never seen scared in my life, and in this moment there was a look of terror on his face. He began running as we all followed. The rain got heavier as we reached the field, and our visibility was low. As we are running, I hear someone say, "Who is that?" I heard one of the girls in our group scream. The figure turns towards us and simply disappears like mist. We all ran towards the fence and got out of there. To this day, I have not heard any animal or human screech like whatever was in that asylum's basement before. We don't talk about it much anymore. It was a terrifying experience for us all. Since then, I never returned to Downey Asylum. It's seriously demonic there.